So in one of my more recent videos, which was how to find easy and clean day trades, I got asked a question from Brianna down here in the comment section of Maurice, can I do a video on how to get quote unquote picky with the trades? So specifically a bullet listed PowerPoint on how a person can be developed into a patient picky day trader. So wanted to make this video actually kind of going through that. And if we go here, current slide, get the laser pointer ready, and here we go. So as far as how to day trade in general to become a picky patient trader, I have 4 steps of really how you can exactly do that and how I usually teach most of my students in one-on-one coaching, group coaching, and things like that. How they can become a picky patient trader, which is in other words, high quality trades. But here's the interesting piece. I'm not going to go over some junk of like, hey, you need to just practice. That's the obvious, right? And I'm also not going to say, hey, okay, to do high quality trades, you need to do this exact only thing, literally, and that's it. No, because high quality realistically is subjective, right? So what I think is high quality may not be high quality to you. With that being said, if we go to step one and how exactly to become a patient picky trader, you need to identify your own trading personality, right? As far as with my strategy in itself, there's basically kind of 6 realms, if you will, of what things you can look at and ways you can trade and how you can trade. So if you're familiar with my strategy, you'll know that, hey, there's major zones, which are the high and lowest points from a zone perspective of the day, right? So that basically means from a trading personality perspective, some people, such as myself, only likes trading those major zones because typically it has the higher probability of winning, right? Because there's such a large amount of agreements between buyers and sellers on those zones, so a lot of pressure is there, and typically it will bounce off of that, so you can get a win off of that, whether it be small, medium, or large, or a win. So that's that. But that's me personally because I like quality trades. But in my mind, a quality trade means I'll get one, maybe 2 trades a day, and I'm fine. Some people, from a trading personality perspective, they don't like that. They want to actually trade more. They don't want to trade 1 or 2 times a day. They want to take 5 to 10 plus trades, maybe 15, 20. I've seen some people do 20 trades even with my strategy. That means, okay, you can take minor zone trades. Essentially, a minor zone is all the zones that are in between the major zones, all those different agreements between buyers and sellers based off of where exactly those candles are on the 5-minute charts. There's, let's just say, 30 to 40 different minor zones that are created. And as a result, there's 30 to 40 potentially different trades you can take. Some people take those trades all day, every day. And because their brain in general is just more not creative, I guess, but more in the lines of able to process multiple things at multiple different times and able to just run 100 miles per hour very quickly. That's, if you're that personality type, you're the person that might just only like trading minor zones. If you're like me, I like very structured. I like very step A, B, C, D. I want to be able to do this, but then I don't want to stare at the screen. Maybe you like the major zones. It depends on your personality. Same thing when it comes to choppy trades versus clean trades. You'd be surprised. There's maybe trades that looks like it's bouncing up in your favor, um, but it's kind of choppy going to the side, goes up a little bit, then goes back down. But you're technically still safe because maybe your stop loss isn't getting hit. But for me, that causes anxiety. But for other people, again, depending on their personality, that actually thrive through kind of things like that and overall, right? Some people that thrive through the struggle because it just makes sense to them. Or I've had one example of one guy, he had, what, 7 kids. So these choppy trades for him just made sense, you know? So this is all he did, and he made, what, his name was Alberto. He makes like $2,000 on a regular basis, on a weekly basis, and he's doing perfectly fine for him and his kids. So choppy trades made sense for him. And some people, they only like clean trades. Clean trades from personality perspective, that means you want it to come down, tap your zone, and perfectly bounce off of it. If it does, you take it. If it doesn't, you do not take it ever, you know? So that's the example of a clean trade. But again, all these are dependent on you because maybe someone does major zones, but they can't do choppy trades. Maybe someone does minor zones, but they can't just only wait for clean trades. It's based off your personality. If you don't know what personality you're doing all 6, you will 100% lose because you're doing 6 different things. And we haven't even gotten to the fast and slow trades, which I can imagine you probably have a good idea of what it is, but if you don't know your personality from a trading perspective, which typically is your regular personality of who you are, and it just bleeds into who you are as a trader, by the way, you're in trouble. So, but that's the clean trades. The last two here are fast trades and slow trades. So from a personality perspective, if you're a very fast-paced oriented person, or maybe you like the adrenaline rush, maybe you're a person that says, you know what, I only want to play that first hour of the day or the last hour of the day, which is power hour, because the volume is so insane that you kind of like that movement, right? You can actually have fun with it because it's going so fast. You can see the pretty clean moves, maybe, or maybe a choppy move, and with that as well. And you feel comfortable with it because you don't have to stay in a trade very long. You can stay in a trade for, let's say, 2 minutes and somehow earn a huge profit because the candles are so large, hypothetically, between 2 to 5 to 10 minutes. It depends on the trade, on the 1 minute chart. But that's that. Or maybe you're the person that, from a personality perspective, you know what? I like the slow trades because, as I guess if we mix it to myself as an example, I personally like slow trades that are off of major zones because I see it slowly happening off of a major zone, and the fact of it's happening slow, I can let it go down to my target zone, have no worries, no fears, nothing like that, and I'm calm. But I have some people that say, and that would be trades that are in the middle of the day. I have some people that say I like major zones, but they like the fast trades. That means they maybe like a major zone play during power hour, right? There's typically, from a personality perspective, 1 to 2 of these that you fall into the category of what your trading personality will be from with my strategy anyway. And that's the step one. You have to identify your trading personality. For step two, go a little faster here. You have to determine your trading capacity after you've determined your actual personality. This should be centered around your current lifestyle and willingness to stick to it. So being realistic, the only way you're going to be picky is if you actually can trade. And the only way you can actually trade is if you realize to say, hey, I have a 9 to 5 job. I can't trade 9. I can't trade 8, or sorry, 10 o'clock. I can't trade 11. The only time I can realistically trade is lunchtime, 12 to 1. Cool. It's centered around your current lifestyle, your capacity to be able to trade, and your willingness to do so. You only can trade from 12 to 1. And I've had a lot of very successful students that were able to do that. You don't need all day. You just need to know and have a plan that works based off of your personality and based off of your capacity to actually implement that personality-based trading that works for you so you can be consistently profitable. And so speaking of consistently profitable, if we go to step 3 out of 4, the next step is really basically you need to then and only then to continue your journey on being a patient trader and a picky trader, only play your game and ignore the other trades. This basically means if your trade comes up based off of maybe how your trades are, if it's a major zone, if it's a minor zone, if it's a choppy trade, if it's fast trade, if it's slow trade, whatever it is, you take it 100%. If it's not yours, you do not take it ever. I don't care if there's 60 trades going on. I don't care if Tesla's running. I don't care if Apple had some news of the iPhone, I don't know, 26th comes out, whatever it is. It's because we skipped a whole bunch of generations. It doesn't matter at all. You take your trade only when it comes up there. That purposely gets rid of FOMO. You don't become a picky trader if you have FOMO. You have to get rid of that. And then going to the next point, your goal, and this is the overall really big point of this, that if you haven't learned anything so far, this is the main core piece. Your goal is to not be a profitable trader initially at all. I could care less about you making profits. Initially, it's to be consistent with the strategy, right? So when you think about it, everyone typically from a trading perspective has this thing wrong. They think they want to learn a strategy for 5 minutes and then go implement it and buy 100 contracts for $10,000 on the line by day trading it and then make $2,000 as a return. You're not going to do that. You need to have a strategy that can be potentially consistent with your understanding on how to trade it, to say, hey, I have a planned entry because of A, technical analysis. I have a planned exit for a win because of B, and I have a planned exit, which is C, I guess, for a stop loss because of this XYZ analysis based off of the chart data in front of you. You need a strategy. And if you can consistently get in and get out at those 3 defined locations, you have a consistent strategy that's predictable and that you can continue to test to be profitable. See what I mean? So if you're consistent with your winning ratio first, because that's the most important percentage that you can continue to tweak, Then and only then you can worry about, oh, well, what's my profits, basically. So you get picky by trading slowly, as I mentioned, out of the gate with one contract. Because one contract, the most you can win is only 20 bucks. If you day trading and follow my strategy, and the most you can lose is only 20 bucks anyway. So since that eliminates fear, anxiety, etc., you're in a much better place to focus on the winning ratio to be consistent with the strategy rather than trying to be profitable and earning $10,000 tomorrow, because that's not how trading works. And that's not how anything works. It's not how being a doctor works either, right? You got to go to school for a long time. And all I'm saying realistically is start with the one contract, and then make sure for the final step 4, you start scaling based on consistency and not lucky trades. You need to understand that if you make a huge return outside of your plan, then that is literally the worst thing that can happen to you. The reason why is because if you're following a plan and being consistent, of a generally consistent return of, let's say, I don't know, if you're starting out anyway, 3 to 7% of a return on a daily basis, because a lot of my students have that, by the way, that do one-on-one coaching and group coaching, that's great. But if you get a 60% return in one day, that is horrible, because what do you think is going to happen the next day? The following day, you're going to be like, man, I know this stuff. I'm the best trader in the world. You know what? Let me go ahead and get a little quick 40% win. just a small one. Like yesterday I had 60. I get a 40 or maybe 35. And you're going to hold too long, and then it becomes negative 35% of a gain. And then you're going to have the revenge trading happen, and you're going to go back into a trade that's against the entire trend and have an additional negative 20%. So then you're down almost negative 50% of your entire trade, or maybe potentially account. That's how you blow up your account and lose your money. I know this is stuff more than likely most people do not want to hear, but I'm just being 100% upfront and honest, because again, the worst thing you can do is to have a huge return outside of your plan. You need a plan and you need to stick to it. If the plan says get out, if your plan says get out of a trade based off of your X target, it's been hit, get out. I don't care if it runs another 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50%. You need to follow your plan because you don't want to get spoiled. So final piece, last but not least, it's scale up based on weekly, getting results of you doing the same trade over and 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 over again. That's how you become a picky trader, because you need to, again, to recap, find the 1 to 2 personality traits from a trading perspective that you feel comfortable with and what you kind of vibe with, I guess. That's 1. 2, determine your capacity of when you can actually trade. 3, only play your trades day in and day out and nothing else, so you can eliminate FOMO, fear, anxiety, etc. And then 4, slowly start scaling up based off of your strategy that you're following and that you're comfortable with, that matches your personality, your lifestyle, and so on and so forth. So hopefully that makes sense. Brianna, where's the piece? And I guess I'll leave it at that. I'll shoot a reply back to you letting you know that when I post it.